Thanks, John. Jarrett, everything seemed like a struggle for Miami today. Right. Defensively, what was so significant about being able to hold this team to under 90 points in Game 3 of the playoffs?
I feel like every single defensive possession, we were where we needed to be at the right time. We played with a certain intensity that didn't allow them anything easy, shots, dribbles, anything. And I think that's just translated to the offensive end as well.
This one was important. I mean, this is Game 3. This was a day game, a chance for Miami to gain some momentum. Yet you guys completely squashed that. What type of statement do you make with that?
Right. It's an early game. A lot of people have trouble waking up early for games like this. We made an emphasis to sacrifice something. Go to bed early. It's Miami. You can get caught in a lot of traps being out by the pool for hours doing all that. But we wanted to lock in and try to give this game our best shot.
Hey, you woke up for the beginning of this game. What got into you today?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to show the team some intensity. I wanted be the one to kickstart it, get us rolling, and then let everybody else handle the business down the fourth quarter.
You've relied on your depth all season long. You were without Darius tonight. And really, I could have interviewed anybody because everybody stepped up big. To do this in the playoffs, just as a team, playing the right way. Talk to you about that.
It just shows how locked in we are from 1 to 18. I feel like literally everybody came in and did their job, whether it's Donovan, Evan, Max especially. And shout out Jalen Tyson. He came in, we were up by 30, but he didn't let them slow him down. He was passing the ball, hitting threes, doing it all.
All right, so you're up in the series 3-0. How does it feel that the next win, you advance to the postseason?
Right. It would feel good when we win it. We still have a job to do, that quote. But it would be good to get some rest for the next series and just pave the way for what we're trying to do.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Guys. Serena, thank you. Jarrett Allen finishing with a playoff career high 22 points. Austin, in terms of setting the tone today, it was Jarrett Allen that got this team going early. How important was that to establish him at the beginning of this game?
Well, to me, we all knew, at least I was scared if they were not going to start with the inside game because they could get carried away and go outside, but they stayed focused on who they are now and what they want to get the job done. And when they got those two guys involved early, I said, thank God, because now we're going to play the game the right way.
Coach, you talked about paint points earlier. The Cavaliers outscoring the Heat 60-30 inside here today, and these two obviously proved to be a big part of that.
Well, it's exactly what Austin just said. The dominance of the two bigs up front, that should come through against a smaller Miami. So you can play Ware and Adebayo all you want, but they're not the same as having Allen and Mobley. And I thought at one stretch there were 3 players that Mobley switched on to for the Heat.
Right.
All 3 players, when they saw it was Mobley guarding them, gave the ball up. After 1 or 2 dribbles, they were like, I can't get around this guy, and I don't think I can shoot over him because he's so long and he's so athletic. It was very discouraging to them.
Let's talk about Hunter first. DeAndre Hunter, he was blanked in Game 1, did not score. Game 2, he had 12 points. He comes out here today with a purpose, and boy, was that bench and Hunter good.
Yeah, I thought the first game he was over-anticipating things. There was almost anxiety in his game. He wanted to play so well. He's just kind of let it come to him over the last 2 games. Today, he was ultra aggressive. They got him in a lot of mismatches with whether it's Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson, and he went right at them every time. And defensively, he was using that 6'8" height and that 7'2" wingspan to help, create that formidable front line with Mobley and Allen. And he was just remarkable to watch today. A lot of fun.
Take a look at those plus-minus numbers here today. Hunter in 28 minutes is a plus 34. Ty Jerome was a plus 33 in 22 minutes. And it tells you basically the entire story. And it tells you a big portion of the Cavs story all season. You win 64 games. You don't do that with just 7 or 8 guys. Right. Kenny has embraced the depth, and here you see it on display right when the Cavs needed it in the postseason. This was the idea. Make sure not only to rest your starters, make sure they're not overtaxed coming into the playoffs, but make sure you have a bench and reserves that can get the job done when the lights are the brightest.
Well, speaking of the role players, we talked a little bit about that Virginia Cavalier and DeAndre Hunter. How about Ty Jerome finishing with 13 points, 11 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals? Was that a career high in assists? He also had the most assists off the bench in Cavs playoff history. It was his first career playoff double-double, and the first double-double by Cavs bench player since May 1st, 2018, and Tristan Thompson. Austin, I know you love to talk about Ty Jerome. What did he bring to the game today?
He brought energy, which he always does, and he's bringing it on both ends of the floor. I mean, he made some great steals. He helps out a lot on double team, but his offense, I mean, the way he sets the team up, he does a lot in the middle of the floor. So he's got both ways to go. And his partner, Hunter, oh my goodness. I mean, these two guys together, you can see why they won a national championship.
It's funny, when the Cavaliers have been down either Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell throughout the season, they almost haven't missed a beat because of how solid Ty Jerome has been. He basically righted the ship when Donovan Mitchell had to go out early in that first quarter. But, Coach, I know you were looking at DeAndre Hunter. What did you see from him today?
Well, I'm looking at both of them, and there's a different point I want to make about this. The first decision came from head coach Kenny Atkinson. Who do I start in place of Darius? Because he could have very easily started Ty Jerome.
Yes.
Okay, but no, he didn't want to disrupt what he's been doing coming off the bench. So he put Sam Merrill in. Sam got his chance. Yeah. We got off to a poor start, 15-6. We're down. All of a sudden, Ty Jerome comes in and things turn around. Whee! So that was the first big decision. As far as Hunter goes, after game one, he scored 0 points. Yeah. And in practice that next day, it was our head coach, Kenny Atkinson, that met with him after practice. They were walking off the court together, and he kind of went over, and I watched. And I said, I bet what he said to him is, listen, it just wasn't your time right now in this first half. We're going to need you, okay? Yeah. He bounces back in game two. He comes out on fire in game three. So the head coach playing a little psychology there with him, knowing that he's going to need this guy to be big for this team, and he was big. It happened way back, but we see the effects today.
We got plenty more coming up here on Cavaliers Live. The Cavaliers just dominating the Heat down in Miami here today. DeAndre Hunter was a big part of that. He had 21 points off the bench.
We started the game off talking about the defense and what you guys wanted from the defensive end. What was so significant about what you guys did defensively from start to finish?
Oh, it was just a collective effort, like a collective focus. We kind of knew, right? It's on the road. It's a little bit different. Like what we talked about before the game. You really have to lock in defensively. You're not going to make shots at the level you do at home. And our guys knew that was the key, defending and winning the rebounding battle. We really executed defensively, executed the game plan. Did a good job on Tyler, keeping him, just trying to limit his touch. With great players, you can only try to limit their touches. So we did that. But Serena, I thought the key was, in the beginning of the second half, they came out and they really raised their level, probably 3 levels. And we answered we weren't making shots, miss. And we kept getting stops, and we just had to keep our head above water. I felt like that beginning of the third quarter, and we weren't making shots, and that's usually when the game evens out, and we just kept it, kind of kept it where it is, because we didn't react to missed shots.
I think the other night you said something to the effect of DeAndre Hunter is going to be huge in this series. Yeah. He's going to win us games. What do you make of what he was able to do without one of your starters tonight?
Great. And I was going to talk about his offense, but defensively, he was is everything we traded him for, his physicality, his size, be able to switch onto Bam, right? Having him and Dean be able to switch onto Bam, and now we got Evan on Tyler, and it's just a real luxury. And then offensively, I thought he was great. I mean, he's so skilled. He shoots it. He can play pick and roll. Super talented player.
Yeah. Kenny, you guys started off, you down 12-4 at the first media timeout today. And then obviously things clicked quickly after that. What was the message in that huddle?
Listen, Bam hit that super contested 3 in the corner, and then Ware hits a 3. And you're just like, that's where as a coach, you just got to keep it like we came out with the right mentality. Our disposition is good. We're competing. I didn't feel like it was like, oh, we're not locked in, or it was a little bit bad luck. And then on the other end, we had 2-3 open looks. So you really got to be, not reacting to the score, which is weird, right? Like, hey, but it's more what's really happening out there. What's the process like? And I thought our process was good.
What did you think of what Evan did defensively today?
Oh man. I mean, we've been really pushing him and JA to, pressure Bam more, pressure Ware more. I think today was we finally got there. We finally got where they were up and they were bothering him. He's a great quarterback. And with us kind of top blocking Tyler, it's a huge part of it. And then of course, we got to our switching lineup with Dre and Dean. You can't forget about Dean tonight. I thought that little switch helped us. Just getting him more minutes. I felt like on the road we needed his rebounding, and that him and Isaac kind of switch roles, and I thought Dean was great.
So I saw Max open the game on Tyler. Was that an adjustment, or had he been opening the games on him previously?
No, he started on him.
So was it more about just like you've been talking about, getting to your switch lineup a little bit differently that enabled you guys to throw more bodies at Tyler?
Yeah, I just think, again, that was kind of the Dean thought. The Dean thought, getting him in for, as one of the top subs, and just to change it up. Again, I thought that helped.
And then we asked you before, or somebody asked you before the game about what Darius said or whatever, and I know what you said.
Yeah.
Was his basic point true? Was that the game plan? Because it didn't really seem like you guys were attacking, like you were doing all kinds of stuff today.
Listen, we do a lot of stuff, and that's, that's not our general philosophy. We're a ball movement team, but listen, there are situations like anything, you want to increase someone's defensive usage, that helps you on both sides. But I don't, wouldn't say it was specific to one player. It's a little bit, things come out in the wash with the way we play.
Right. You guys were without Darius. Yeah. Donovan didn't have his normal scoring production type of night.
Yeah.
When you're able to put together an offensive performance like that without those two guys at their normal levels, what does that just say to you, I guess?
Yeah, and I didn't think it's not like we shot the three a ton or shot it great, right? It was more the cutting, the give and goes we had. I thought we were driving they were taking us off the 3-point line. We were driving it and getting into their paint. That's why we got those kind of big to big stuff and all that. So it was a little bit of adjustment to how they were playing. But yeah, I mean, that's who we've been all year. We're just, we're deep and we're skilled, and we're not skilled just at the top three positions. We're skilled, kind of 1 through 12 rotation wise. Sam's super skilled. Max is skilled. Ty is incredibly skilled. So, it's a little bit of product of the talent we have.
Jarrett?
You're top blocking Tyler, but every defense tries to do that. You guys are still able to somehow cut him off from the rest of the offense. What else are you doing in the shift activity that prevents him from getting?
Yeah, I think raising our ball pressure level on Bam was that was part of it. And obviously when they have Ware out there, we have another safety net behind. And then just being aware, like you said, kind of pregame. If they beat us with I think they beat us with one back cut. If they beat us with a back cut, we'll kind of live with it. Let's not overreact to that. We just kind of stuck with the plan.
And then, usually they would try to bring in one of the guards for some switch, hunting, but they were still bringing Bam into the screens, having Evan on him anyway. What is it about the way your lineups are composed and the way you defend that forces a team to go away from the obvious cross match?
Yeah, and I do think, part of it is the top block. It's harder to get to small screens, when you're kind of blocking that guy from going to set it. But again, the luxury we have is we have the rim protectors behind us, right? If you do screw up, you got JA back there, usually, or DeAndre too, 6'9", if we do make yeah, and it's hard as a coach. Sometimes you want to bring the 5 up because you don't want him at the rim, right? So I think that was probably part of their thinking too.
Chris,
Kenny, you spoke really highly of Max before the game, but can you just speak to the impact that he had on this one in particular?
Well, I think that highlight when he had the verticality, and I felt like the game was a little, maybe say it was, but it was a little and still could swing either way. So he gets the verticality right and takes it right on the chest. I mean, they come down. I forget who came downhill and gets that, and then he runs to the other end and then gets the wing three, off the pass. I thought that was like kind of personified who he's been this series and who he is overall as a player.
We had been asking you incessantly since DeAndre got traded here if he was going to be in the starting lineup or if it was going to be Max, and you kept going with Max over and over and over again. Is there something about him that just works so well with that starting group?
Max, you're talking about? Yeah. I think it's the content they played together for. They know each other. Donovan has a trust in him. So, part of it is his coach, but part of it is player. And it's what we talked about before the game, Chris. He does all the dirty work. When you have superstars, we got kind of four stars. Who's going to set the screens? Who's going to attack the offensive boards? He's that ultimate role player that you need around great players. And he fits that. He fits that to a T. I'm not sure if you like throw a high volume scorer in with that team that it works. That does that make sense? So that's kind of I think that's kind of why it works is who Max is as a player.
Hi, Kenny. Before the playoffs, you got a full week to rest to prepare the game. Right now, you are pretty close to reach the fourth victory. So. Taking in mind that the other game between Bucks and Pacers can be longer, how important is to resolve this quickly and to have a full week to prepare again the second round?
It's a big advantage. Even coming into this series, the fact that we had 7 days in Miami, these guys they've been on the road. We have a freshness advantage. It is. So same thing. That's what you want to have going forward. I've seen it. I saw it with the Warriors. You end up going with a game 7 with the team, then it's going to affect you in the next round, right? The sooner you can, end the series, the better. But listen, this is the Miami Heat, right? This is not going to be, because of who they are, because of their character and their program and their coaching and the players they have. It's, game 4 is going to be, I expect it to be a tight battle.
We're taking a look at the Cavaliers' final stats in their 37-point victory over the Heat. Coach, what stat jumped out to you most?
Well, there's a couple of them, but doubling the free throw amount, 20 free throw attempts to just 10 for Miami is huge. And three-point line wasn't great to us today, but we took 40 of them.
Austin, what about you?
Rebounding. To me, that's where they really put damage to this team. That controlling that paint, that's what it's all about in this time of year, especially playoff time. You got to be able to control the paint.
Yeah, the Cavaliers had 22 second chance points. They outscored the Heat by 30 in the paint, and from the bench, 52-18.
Dre, this one seemed like Miami, it was a struggle for them offensively to start this game and to close this game. How did you play with the defensive force that you guys did from opening tip tonight?
That was a focus for us. We wanted to come out aggressive, especially on the defensive end. We knew they were going to try to punch first, hit first, especially being down 2-0. But I think we did a good job coming out with energy today.
As Kenny said in his postgame presser, he said, look, this is why we traded for Dre. This is exactly the guy that we thought that we were getting. You and I talked about the confidence that you have in these moments, but what was your mentality in this game?
Just to be aggressive. Don came up to me, told me to be aggressive, especially with DG out. So that's what I tried to do.
When you look at this win, it wasn't one guy. It was everybody. True team win. You're out one of your starters. Everybody had to step up. What kind of stands out to you most about how you won in this game 3 of the playoffs?
I think it just shows how deep our team is. I think we proved it all year, but to see it in the playoffs, especially with an all-star down, we had everyone from the last guy to get in. They helped us tonight, so I think it just shows our depth.
Obviously, you guys had a big lead coming out of halftime. They went on a little run there, and Kenny talked about how you guys were able to keep your head above water, keep the composure. How do you guys think you maintained that?
I mean, composure was something we talked about before the game. Like I said, we knew we were coming into a away game. Like I said, they were going to come out with a lot of energy. But, you know, whether they went on the run, whether we went on the run, we just wanted to keep, you know, a level head. Don't get too ahead of ourselves. Just keep playing the game. And I think we did a good job playing full 48 tonight.
Kenny talked about the pressure that Evan and Jarrett are able to put on Bam defensively. What does that do for the rest of the unit when they're able to force him into so many decisions and mistakes that they did?
It's huge. I mean, not only are they doing that, but they're also guarding on the perimeter as well. I think having those two guys in the game not only helps us, you know, guarding the paint, but kind of helps us being able to switch as well, because they can switch on guards, and, you know, we don't feel uncomfortable, you know, with them switching on guards. So just that versatility really helps us a lot.
Well, 6 Cavaliers scored in double figures here today. DeAndre Hunter, of course, spark off the bench with 21 points, but it was such a balanced offensive attack here today. Evan Mobley, one of those players. Coach, you finished with 19 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, dished out 3 assists. You talked about how his presence was felt on the defensive end for Miami, but how did you see him impact the game offensively as well?
There's no question that they were watching, looking at the rim, watching for the big guys to be there, and they found him. They got the ball to him exactly at the right moment. And then the big guys have to convert, and they did that. They converted on the great passing that they had. They were close enough to the rim. They shoot such a high percentage. They should be good there.
Yes, I mean, to me, they work so well together. I mean, it's amazing how, and they willingly give the ball up. They don't hold on to it, try to make an extra move. As soon as the opening is there, they take advantage of it.
Yeah, you felt like there was certainly a point of emphasis made about attacking in the paint here today. They were outscored by 14 in the paint last game. I want to dive a little bit deeper into the defensive effort here today, because it felt like this was maybe one of the best performances we've seen, most complete on the defensive end from this group. Austin, what was different about their approach defensively today?
First of all, they were up on their man. Nobody was laying back. I mean, maybe the first 5 minutes you saw some of that. But after that, everybody was up on into the offensive man's face. Everybody was there. And one thing they have really gotten good at is when to lead into the big men. And then when they lead them into the big man, they all do a good job of helping on the weak side. So the defensive effort is really starting to get, and this is the right time, Coach, to get your defensive act together.
I think the coaches have allowed them the flexibility of, we want you to be aggressive. We heard DeAndre say that Don, he called him Don, okay?
Yeah.
That Donovan Mitchell, and they all look at him as the leader. I said, be aggressive out there today. Defensively, they've given him a little bit of leeway that if you think you have a gamble and you want to go take a shot at a steal from behind, they allow him to do it. They figure their bigs will cover for him. So they're coming at you. We saw when they gave Bam the ball in the middle of the circle, there were 2 guys in on the wing, the guy that was guarding him and 1 behind. He's looking at 4 jerseys that say Cavaliers on him. He didn't know where to go.
Let's head back to Miami and hear more from Ty.
Ty, felt like every possession offensively for this Miami team, you guys made a struggle. How much was just the overall defense a priority heading into this game?
Yeah, I mean, defense travels for sure. I thought we did a better job tonight of when we missed some shots throughout the course of the game. Our defense didn't waver ever. Everyone was locked into the game plan. We didn't have many lapses on that end, and that's important as we move forward.
How big was exactly what you said coming out of halftime? You know, they obviously hit some shots coming out of half. You guys were up 20, but you just stayed above water.
Absolutely. We knew if we answered that first punch, you know, as you get later and you're up 20, teams tend to, quit and waver. So we knew how important it was to answer that first punch.
What did you make of what Dre did out there tonight?
Phenomenal on both ends of the ball, and on the glass. But that's honestly who he is. That's why we got him. I've seen that for the last 10 years.
You're taking a commanding lead in this series, up 3-0. Kenny talked about how in his career he's realized like freshness is important. So the quicker you can close out a series, the better. How much is that, motivation to heading into game 4?
For sure. I mean, obviously we want a week off would be great. And you don't want to give a team like this life. They've made runs before. They're battle tested. Their best players are battle tested. So when you have them on the ropes, you got to put them away, and you don't want to give them life. So Game 4 is going to be really important for us.
Early on, you guys were a little bit sluggish, and you were down 9, and then you and DeAndre come in and follow it up with an 18-0 run. What was the mentality coming in at that point?
Just to come in and bring some life to the game. Like you said, we started off a little sluggish. I think only Jay had scored in the first 5 or 6 minutes. So just to, like I say every game, I try to bring pace and, read the flow of the game and take what the defense gives me. And that was the mindset.
Is it hard to not react to the score at that point and try and do too much?
No, I mean, I get in the game and I try to play with pace and take what the defense gives me. And early that was the pocket or some spray outs. And as the game goes on, the paint gets a little wider and you get to attack those gaps. But I never react to the score. Just try to, like I said, take what the defense gives me.
One of the things Kenny talked about was the amount of pressure that Evan and Jarrett are putting on Bam defensively, further away from the basket, making him make decisions. When he's having to do all of that with those guys on him, what does that do for the rest of you guys defensively?
I mean, they're our anchors of our defense, and they're so versatile. They can pressure a guy, an all-star like Bam out on the three-point line. They can, bump him in the post. They can switch on the guards. Evan had one play today where I got beaten. He stopped the ball and blocked the shot when the guy dropped it off. Like, guys aren't doing that. So Evan and Jay are just, they anchor our defense. They've been doing it all year, and they were phenomenal in that.
What was your big takeaway from today's game? What did you like the most about what you guys were able to do?
I feel like we kept our composure. That was the main thing. They came out pretty fast and came out with the first hit, and we kept our composure, got it back, and from there just played our game and our brand of basketball.
Kenny offered a lot of praise for Max, not just for today's game, but what he's done throughout the course of this series and throughout the course of the year. What stands out to you about the way that he has fit with you guys in that starting group specifically?
Yeah, he's like a Swiss Army knife. I mean, anything you ask him to do, he'll go out there and do it and do it to his full capability. And I think tonight he did a great job on Tyler Hero, just making it really difficult on him, not letting him touch the ball, just swarming him and being in the right spots at the right time. And we need that from guys like that. And then also offensively as well, being protective.
Before the game, Kenny talked about composure and coming in here with the right mentality. How much of an emphasis was that from him before this game for you guys?
That was a big emphasis. That was like his pregame speech, and these past few days we've been talking about it as well. We're coming into their house, so we knew that they were going to have the energy and want to come out with energy, and I feel like we matched it and exceeded their energy.
You are obviously spending a lot of time defending Bam. He had 6 turnovers this afternoon. Kenny talked about the pressure that you were putting on him when he's on offense. What do you think you're doing well defensively right now in regards to him?
I feel like you said, just putting pressure on the ball, and then also just help side a lot of the times, whether it's Hero or Duncan Robinson or any shooters coming off, trying to read that play, be involved in it, help the guys guarding them, and get back to Bam as well. So that's really my job right now.
Evan, this may sound ridiculous, or it may be right, so I'll just ask. Did the effort that you put out today as a team, did it have anything to do with the back and forth between Darius and Tyler and wanting to kind of have Darius's back a little bit?
Maybe a little bit, but I feel like we were going to put out this effort regardless of what's going on. We definitely want to prove where we're at right now, and every time we step on the floor, we want to just go out there and play our brand of basketball, and I feel like that's what we've been doing these past 3 games, and we're going to continue to do that throughout the playoffs.
And then, I mean, everybody's been talking about, composure and maturity and all those things. I don't think today was the first day that you guys showed that. Like, when did you start to realize that this team had grown and sort of you are who you are now?
Started like the beginning of the season, really, from that 15-0, multiple 15-0 runs. To get that many wins in a row, you have to have composure. You have to have maturity and not let games slip. Even if it may be easy, we might be on a run. But I feel like we've built that throughout the season, and we're continuing that now.
All right.
DeAndre was involved in that first quarter swing and sort of going off of Max starting and how he fits. How does DeAndre fit off the bench, and how does he just change the dynamic when he's able to come in with a skill set?
Yeah, we've been doing a good job of getting him involved these past 2 games now, and getting himself involved as well. Anytime he sees a mismatch on the offensive end, he's been aggressive and creating plays for us. And defensively, he's also great for us as well, and guarding multiple guys and switching on to bigs as well. So he's a great off-the-bench player for us right now.
And you guys put together this game without Darius and largely without Donovan, at least his normal production levels. Is a game like this help in just in terms of like a secondary confidence factor?
A little bit. I feel like we all knew that we're all capable of this as well. This is nothing new. It's happened during the season as well. Guys been out, and this is the next man up mentality. So I feel like guys stepped up, and we delivered tonight.
Chris. Evan, so many of you guys coming into these playoffs have talked about having a chip on your shoulder and playing with that chip on your shoulder and wanting to continue that throughout the course of this playoff run. What is that a result of?
Just our past experiences in the playoffs. We want to come out and go out there and prove what we are capable of doing, and I think we're doing that night in and night out so far.
And I got some wrong.
Well, here are the largest margins of victory in Cavs playoff history. Today's game was 3rd all-time with a 37-point victory over the Miami Heat. Austin, pretty impressive, huh?
Very impressive. I mean, when you look at the playoff time, that's big boy time there. So when you win games like this, you are playing at a high level.
We don't actually know what time the game is going to be yet, but we do know it will be in Miami on Monday. Coach, what's it going to take for the Cavaliers to close this one out?
It may take a game that's going on right now. It may take Oklahoma City beating Memphis. They would win 4-0, and the message would go through the Cavs locker room, my hunch is like, look, if they can do it in 4 straight and get rest, we can do it in 4 straight. That might be just what they need, and the coaches don't have to worry about it. That game that's going on right now could be the answer.
Austin, a statement it felt like was made here today with the margin of victory, but how much of a statement would the Cavs make if they could sweep the Heat?
Oh, big statement, because that a sweep goes out all over the world. Everybody knows about it, and that tells you that you're focused and ready for the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we will see what happens come Monday night. The Cavaliers looking to wrap this thing up down in Miami. Here we go. The Cavaliers taking on the Heat here today, 124-87. 6 Cavaliers scoring in double figures for their 3rd largest margin of victory in Cavs playoff history. Back in action on Monday at Kaseya Center. Game 4, the Cavaliers looking for the sweep against the Heat. For Austin Carr, Mike Fratello, and our entire crew, I'm Kaylee Griffin. We'll see you on Monday.